It's almost the end of the year, 2025, and a bit tumultuous one at that for me. So enormously tumultuous in so many ways. I made the decision to leave the South Island at the beginning of the year in 2025. I was down there with the intention of being down there to get work on a movie called East of Eden, a Netflix production, a remake of the 1955, I think it is, movie, 55 movie with James Dean and Rock Hudson. And I went down there to get work as an extra, down to North Otago, which is the most amazing, beautiful location. I did a lot of travel around North Otago, St. Bathans, Ranfurly, around there, and I fell in love with the place. It was so beautiful. But unfortunately for me as well, when I was down there was enormous cold fronts coming up from the Antarctica and blasting the area I was in. I was in the area in the Central Otago, North Otago region for about almost 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. Fiordland as well, I guess you can say, as well as Southland, North Otago region. About 3 weeks, and it was fucking freezing. This is December, January, which is generally really hot, like really hot. I'm talking like mid-20s to like early 30s Celsius, and it was freezing cold. So my intuition said, go north to Nelson. So I went to Nelson, stayed at my sister's place in Aniseed, where before she came back from Australia, which is Hope. Hope is about 25 minutes from Nelson, south of Nelson. Beautiful location, amazing house, had an amazing experience up there, but the weather came in there as well, so it got colder, and I had no work up there. I was looking for work. So I said to myself, right, I'll put my feelers out to my friends up in the Auckland region, in the far north. I did. I put my feelers out for all work up in the whole Auckland region, Northland. One of my friends, who happens to be a Romi practitioner, which is a form of Moody, not Maori, Moody. I say Moody because it's universal in the culture, a form of body work, which is very deep tissue work, but also very emotionally and spiritually inclined to pull out energies that no longer are needed in the body and in the energetic field. It's a very comprehensive body work process, quite unique to this part of the world, but very powerful. She said to me, come up to the far north in Mangatapere, which is about 1/4 hour southwest of Whangarei in Northland, and paint our house. Her and her partner Mike's place. So I drove up to Auckland. When I got to Auckland, I got offered a contract, a painting contract. This is what I do normally to earn money, to create some abundance in my life. When I do painting contracts, it gives me a bit more freedom to be able to do the next contract and a couple of contracts, but it gives me a lot more spaciousness to live my best life. And I'm quite nomadic and I love to travel quite a lot. And over the summertime, I want to travel a lot around the country to various places, to locations, to visit friends, to go to events, to festivals, etc. But this year, my intention was to go to Mangatapere, do a whole interior exterior paint, finish that job, cash in, and then go overseas. Because I've been doing my best to go overseas for 2 years to Australia, 2023, 2024, 2025. I was ready to go all 3 years, but I knew intuitively I wasn't going to go in 2023. I didn't. And then in 2024, I was going to go as well. I had a feeling in March I wasn't going to go. Then my best friend of 5 years, or 4 years, told me he had 2 osteosarcomas in his spine, cancer, and he'd been quite debilitated for about 6 months since I'd known him for a while, but this what we thought was an injury, a debilitating condition, really, a debilitating condition. We thought it was just an injury, but it was 2 osteosarcomas growing in his spine. Well, last year, as you know from other videos, I decided to move in with Jeff, and when he asked me to paint his property, but also to help him go through his healing process and be his full-time carer and live with him, and the privilege of doing that with him. But then I began to realize that he had other plans. He'd let go and was ready to move on, and that became quite evident to me in the last few weeks of our time together. So I didn't go away last year, and I had enough money to go travelling around the country, around the island, South Island, and my intention was to work in the South Island for 3 months, come back to Auckland for a month, and then go overseas, this time to Australia. Well, manga tāpiri, I worked for 3 weeks, and then my client said to me, my friend Sarah and her partner Mike said, nah, we're going to pull the pin on this job. Sorry, we can't go through with it. We can't finish it. We can bring you back in 8 weeks to finish it in 8 weeks. I was like, dude, in 8 weeks time it'll be winter. It'll be wet. I can't paint exterior in the winter. The interior, I mean, what's going on here? And they're like, well, you know, they had issues. They had things going on. So I had to leave that job, come back to Auckland. But when I got to Auckland before, I'd be up north to manga tāpiri, I had a contract, a painting contract here in Auckland, a cash contract, right? Which would have been about $15,000. I would have probably made about $12,000 in that job. I said no to it because my friends in the far north said, come and do our job first. We're ready to go. So my intuition was like, yeah, I'm just going to go up. It was that strong. Just go. I did, and it fell through in 3 weeks. And the job I came back to get in Auckland was already gone and gone to somebody else. So I have had the entire year of being in Auckland looking for contracts, finding contracts, and then having people renege on my contracts, breach my contracts, and break my contracts in regards to interior exterior painting work and project management. It's been one of those years, I would have to say, probably one of the worst years for me in regards to me fulfilling my intentions around work. And as a consequence of that, I've been stumped so many times, and thanks to also to the generosity of people around me and me being quite frugal with my money, I managed to negotiate the whole year to a point now where I am. I have got a contract working at a festival called setting up camping tents, glamping tents, doing the build and the pack down, and it's going to pay me a little bit. It's going to give me a little bit of money, a little bit of leeway. I've also enrolled as well on a movie called Zelda to be an extra. A couple of my friends are the casting agents for extras, so it's good. I've done extra work, a lot of extra work over the years, but what I want to, this is me just leading you into what I'm going to share with you in regards to how I've approached this year, because it's been so tough. So many closed doors for me this year in Auckland. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how rough it's been for me in my heart. My heart's been breaking in regards to me moving forward with the intention of creating something, and I had this intuitive feeling like it's not going to work out. And it's not like it's a self-sabotage movement or a pattern that's coming into my life to self-sabotage my experience. It just happens to I happen to know in that moment when I move towards this particular project, it's not going to work out. I can feel it. I can feel it. When I move into the project, often even when I start it, I've got a couple of contracts this year that I've started the work and gone to finish it, and then the clients pull the pin on me halfway during the contract or the beginning of the contract. It's happened to me several times this year. It's happened to me. Never before in my life have I ever experienced this. Never before. I'm 54. My working life has been since I was 14. I've never had this experience before. It's fucking crazy. But it's been really difficult in other ways from my experience. What I've also learned in this year is where I come back to a place of peace and also silence and stillness in my heart. The trickiest aspect of living in my heart, though, this year for me has been when I'm in a situation where I'm triggered. I do my best to come back to it and sit in that place. Now, I'm not a big Bible thumper. There are some aspects of the holy books that I look at, and there's gold in there for me. There's gold in regards to Psalms. There's gold in regards to affirmations and statements. There's gold in there with wisdom, because around that there's a lot of dogma as well, right? But I've been following the work of Neville Goddard. I was drawn to look at Neville Goddard's work at the beginning of the year. Excuse me. Neville Goddard's work at the beginning of the year, and I've been following Gigi Young for about 4.5, 5 years, thanks to my friend Matt Scott, who introduced me to Gigi Young, and she's heavily into esoteric Christianity, anthroposophy, Rosicrucianism. So I've been looking at the esoteric nature of Christianity, and then what's happened for me over the years as well I've actually developed a connection to Mary Magdalene. That came to me many years ago, and it's become stronger and stronger, and I've been pulled into this esoteric Christianity in a way that's allowed me to take the gold out of it for me, what works for me. And there's been this last few months, I've been guided to read certain books, and one of them at the moment is The Dynamics of Prosperity by Catherine Ponder. And it's got a very deeply Christian bent to it, but there's so much gold in this book in regards to some of the verses and psalms that she quotes, in regards to situations, that I can't, let me affirm that, I do take the gold from these. And one of these statements, one of these psalms, it's become so important to me in my life experience when I'm in a situation where chaos is happening all around me, and I'm in a situation where I feel like I need to find stillness. And I'm really good at finding stillness in my heart. I'm really good at coming back to my heart vortex and sitting in there, and then beginning to emanate from there out into the world, the energy of my heart vortex being open, and me connecting to all that is, ever has been and ever will be, and knowing that you're a divine spark. It's a process, and remaining in that place is quite difficult when you're challenged, when you're triggered. Fuck me, believe me, I've been triggered so fucking much this year. It's been crazy. You know, it's been a year of insane experiences, and I know that I'm creating my reality by what I resonate out into the world. And what I've experienced in Auckland has got me questioning, what am I resonating out into the world to experience this? I've given so much of my time and my energy this year to people who have taken without ever, with any intention of, with them having no intention of giving back. I'm open to receive, but they don't give back, they just take. A lot of people in Auckland are very different to people in Wellington, and I've noticed in the Wellington capital region, people in Auckland are driven by money and by business and by the business acumen of creating wealth and retaining wealth. Whereas in Wellington, I had more of a feeling of community. People would share and create and co-create. Very different experience. And also my clients in Wellington region, when I worked as a painter, interior exterior decorator, were also very clear. The contract starts, you finish the contract, and they're happy. That's been my experience. So to come up here and have all these clients and clients up here that I've been working with, who basically just pulled the pin on me a third into the contract, at the beginning of the contract, or just breached or broken the contract in some way, it's just shocking to me to actually have this experience. I just don't know how to even put it into words. But Catherine Ponder's book led me to this psalm. Be still and know that I am God, is a phrase from Psalm 46:10 in the Bible, encouraging individuals to find peace and trust in God's presence and sovereignty, especially during chaotic times. It emphasizes the importance of quietening oneself to recognize God's power and control over all situations, actively surrendering to all that is, ever has been, and ever will be. And for me, that's not really a problem. But I've taken on Catherine Ponder's work and taken what she also said around this experience, the psalm, and someone who she relates to in the book, The Dynamics of Prosperity. She relates to this experience where this woman had no money coming in, had to pay bills, etc., and was in a very tough place. And she basically says that the woman began to sit in her heart space and say out loud and say in her head as well, and in her heart, as a reverberation, as an echo, she would say, be still and know that I am God at work in this situation. And then abundance began to flow into her life. Things began to change and shift. And her process of surrender, that divine love, be made alive in thee, is also an amazing aspect of well. It's like meditation in Buddhism. What Catherine Ponder, how she utilizes this phrase, this statement, let divine love be made alive in thee. It's a projection to all people that you meet and every experience that you have in your life, and everything in your life experience. You project from your heart vortex this statement, this affirmation, that let divine love be made alive in thee, to all of experience, all of reality, projecting it like a mantra from your heart constantly, a form of invocation, casting a spell. Let divine love be made alive in thee, projecting it out into the world. So today is the 18th of December 2025. I'm going to do my best to sit in my heart vortex and project out into the world. Let divine love be made alive in thee, to all my entire day and my night, and see what becomes of the experience. Thanks for watching, I truly appreciate it. And thanks for staying with me for the entire year or following my channel. I really appreciate that as well. I'm just a guy, a creative author, a creative individual who just wants you to know who I am, what makes me tick, how I think, how I perceive the world, what I'm going through. In the end, I'm directing my energy back to my book, because for my books to begin to sell, then I can actually get more income coming in to keep me writing, keep me creating. Because at the moment in my life, all I'm doing is simply making videos, which is awesome, and making them and putting them all up on YouTube for free, which is my intention, to tell people and to give them an idea of who I am. Because there are so many authors and creative people that I know in my world that I really enjoy their work, but I know nothing about them. Well, I want you to relate to me, because I'm an ordinary man. That's all I am. I'm like you. I'm a divine spark and a form of a man, just like you. I'm a divine spark. But I want you to know more about me, so you can understand, if you buy my books, who I am, what makes me tick, how I perceive the world. I'm just an ordinary guy, and what I'm going through, right? Most importantly, maybe with my videos, you can get something out of my videos that can help you in some way, maybe. Or I can direct you to look at a book, or to look at an experience in a different way. And if I can give you the opportunity to have growth in your life and consciousness expansion, I'm happy to do that. But once again, my books is where I'm directing my energy towards. I want to keep selling books. I want my books to sell. I'm not marketing in any way. I've never really marketed my books in the last 10 years. I've just felt like they are there. It's a legacy of work, and I want to finish a couple more books, but I just don't have the capital right now to be able to stop and do this. At some point, I know I will. But here I am sharing and plugging my website, www.ohoakebooks.com. That's me. All the books on there written by me, with parts of myself, my oversoul, existing in other forms, other levels of existence beyond the simulation. And what I've been writing about in those books is, I've got 3 novels, 6 collections of short stories, 3 collections of poetry, a spoken word album, and I've got a novel, a satire novel that I'm writing as well. I'm about a third of the way through it. But I haven't written anything in 5 years, because I've taken a break from writing, because I just don't have the capital to keep doing that and traveling at the same time. So I decided to travel for a while first, and then maybe at some point moving forward, I'll settle down again and finish that book, Rigmarole with Dick Swab. Also part of myself, from another level of existence, from my oversoul, and another form. Whew. Thanks for watching, I truly appreciate it. Matewa. I'll see you again soon.